This was given to my father for his 11th birthday in October of 1962. I know that it's a left-handed Fender Stratocaster. I know that it was special ordered, however, not by my grandfather who bought it for him, by somebody else who didn't have the money to pay for it. And so it was available just sort of on a fluke. And that's about all I know.
And this is your father here?
Yeah, this is him posing with it.
This is a Fender Stratocaster, one of the most iconic instruments in music history. In the early 1960s, all the great rock bands of the time, the Ventures, the Beach Boys, they all used this guitar. What makes this one stand out is that it's left-handed, built in smaller numbers. Look closer. It has the early slab rosewood fingerboard that Fender phased out later in 1962, plus the thin spaghetti Fender logo, all classic early 1960s tells.
We can tell the year the instrument was made, and we know it was in 1962. You have a sales brochure from 1962
right,
showing this model Stratocaster for $289.
This Stratocaster isn't just rare, it was a custom order. The finish, Olympic white, wasn't a standard option in 1962. If you wanted this color, you had to request it specially from Fender. That makes it even more special.
This guitar is just almost perfect shape. There's very little wear on the instrument at all. This was a very light guitar, made it very easy to play. These instruments are highly desirable today because the way they play, the history behind them. Being a left-handed model, it makes it a little bit harder to sell because there's fewer people out there buying them. I've consulted with my colleagues on this, and we believe that in this preservation, you have the original case and everything, we would put a value at retail of $48,000 on it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh my.
I'm as excited as you are.
That's impressive, but it's worth nothing that the highest price ever paid for a Fender Stratocaster was $3.975 million in 2019. If you were bidding on this 1962 Lefty, what would you pay?
This was my father-in-law's guitar, and he purchased it from his brother, who was a professional musician. I just know it's a 1938 Martin, and he played it all the time. He really enjoyed it. He didn't really play much professionally. He tried to do that. I think in the 30s, there's a picture someplace of him with George Goebel.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He did make it onto the radio.
He did make it onto radio with George Goebel the one time.
He didn't give it a lot of hard playing, and most importantly, he didn't have work done on it.
This Martin D18 is one of the most sought-after models by bluegrass and folk players. Why? Because it's simple, elegant, and built for tone rather than flashy decoration. The D18 has mahogany back and sides and a spruce top. Mahogany isn't the most eye-catching wood, but acoustically, it's exceptionally warm and perfectly suited for microphones and recording.
Inside the guitar, we have a stamp on the center strip that says C.F. Martin, Nazareth, Pennsylvania. And on the upper block, where the neck is actually set in, it will have the model number, which is D18, and it will have the serial number, which we can date to late 1938.
1938 was a turning point for Martin guitars. That year, they changed the way the bracing was built inside the instrument. If you look, or in this case, feel inside, you'll notice the X-brace sits closer to the sound hole. This design is called advanced bracing. What does it mean? A top that's more responsive, greater volume, and a rich, open tone that players love. Because of that change, 1938 Martins are especially valuable.
You've had some correspondence with the Martin Company to find out about the model number, but what you didn't find out was what it's actually worth. Do you have an idea of that?
No, well, the letter said the new ones in the 60s were worth about $1,000, so we thought, well, maybe with inflation about $5,000. Wait, I need to, because we'd like to insure it properly. And
okay, the top has been overcoated lightly, and that just means a clear coat of varnish to cover up some of the wear that's happened to it. But that's not a big deal, because in today's market, the replacement value of this guitar with the advanced bracing would be about $28,000 to $30,000.
Okay. Wow.
That's impressive. In fact, the highest price ever paid for a guitar was $6.01 million in 2020 for Kurt Cobain's 1959 Martin D18E from MTV Unplugged. Now I'm curious, what would you pay for this one right now?
I've had it for about 8 to 10 years. My husband and I went to a storage unit sale. I saw this and another guitar and I got it, and I've had it for that long a time.
Have you had this appraised?
I've had it appraised once and they told me it was like between $2,500 and $4,000.
Okay. What did you pay for it?
I paid $3.
$3?
$3. For
$3.
$3.
Okay.
This is a 1928 Gibson Granada banjo, a masterpiece from Gibson's golden pre-war era. Crafted with ornate gold-plated hardware, delicate engraving, and a flamed maple body, it stood at the very top of Gibson's banjo line. The Granada projected a tone unlike anything else, crisp, powerful, and perfect for cutting through in a band.
This is not an electric banjo. What it is people would put lights inside for their show, which a lot of banjo players did back in the 30s, even the 40s. It has 2 Christmas lights.
This banjo didn't just look beautiful, it made history. Earl Scruggs played a Gibson Granada, and his sound became the very voice of bluegrass. Later legends like Sonny Osborne and J.D. Crowe carried the tradition, making the Granada the holy grail for banjo players and collectors worldwide.
Considering that, this has a retail value around $7,000.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Man, 7,000. Never expected that.
The other sign of a good banjo is it's heavy.
Well, I bought it in '60.
You managed to get it back.
Oh yeah, I was tickled to death. Of course, I wouldn't sell it anyway. It's got a lot of memories.
Around 10 years old, my father bought it in 1953 for me. And I've had that ever since. It's what I learned how to play on.
That's you here at 10 or 11 years of age?
That's my dad, and that's my teacher. I guess I was around 13 or 14 when I started actually making some money at it. Went on from there. I was on the road for a few years with a few bands, and now I'm here.
This is a John Dean Jellicoe archtop jazz guitar, a true work of art for jazz musicians. It blends classic archtop design with modern touches to create both style and sound. Built with a hand-carved spruce top and carefully chosen tone woods, it produces a warm, projecting voice that works well for solos or ensemble playing. Its arched body, inspired by vintage jazz boxes, boosts acoustic volume while limiting sustain, making every note clear and sharp even in a busy band mix.
Everything about this guitar was top of the line. And John D'Angelico is, by acclaim, the greatest archtop guitar maker ever.
All Jellicoe guitars were essentially custom built. This one has a medium neck and a custom dark finish. It originally came with a pickup, but it's missing now. The pickup's mounting had disintegrated.
We even have the original sales receipt in John D'Angelico's hand from when your father purchased this
Right.
on October 19th, 1953. And it was $325. Your initial $325 investment today at a vintage guitar shop would sell in the range of $30,000 to $35,000 at retail.
Yeah.
Would you mind playing it a little bit for me to?
Well, I traded a 1939 Chevrolet for it in 1971. And the guy I traded off of said he bought it in California when it was new, I'm assuming. He played country and western music. I've always played rock and roll and country and western with it.
So you've been using them?
I haven't used it in some years, but back in the 70s I did quite a bit. Played a lot of barn dances.
So do you remember what was the value of the car you traded for this?
About $600 to $800, what it was worth.
But that was quite a while ago.
This is a 1964 Gibson ES335, is one of the most iconic guitars ever made, a true blend of innovation and craftsmanship. Introduced in 1958, the ES335 was the world's first semi-hollow body electric guitar, designed to capture the warm, resonant tones of a hollow body while controlling feedback like a solid body. By 1964, Gibson had perfected the model. This particular year, 1964, is considered a golden era. It features the famous medium 64 neck profile, beloved by players for its comfort and speed.
This model guitar was used by a lot of famous artists, Chuck Berry, B.B. King, Keith Richards, but it was really championed and became really popular when Eric Clapton started using it, and he started using it when he was with Cream.
Yeah, he's one of my heroes.
Again, yeah, mine too. This guitar came in different color variations. This is the regular Sunburst.
The body is crafted from laminated maple for strength and sustain, paired with a solid mahogany neck and rosewood fingerboard. Today, a well-preserved 1964 Gibson ES335 isn't just a guitar, it's a collector's dream.
But this guitar is just so iconic, so classic. Do you have any idea what the value of this would be today?
Well, I was offered $1,500 for it in 1992.
Well, today this guitar at a retail price would be $12,000 to $12,500. Everyone it was coined as one of the best guitars because you could use it for just about any type of music.